Let me ask you something that might make you stop and think twice the next time you're with a woman. Have you ever touched a woman, even something as simple as her arm, her lower back, or brushing hair from her face, and noticed her entire energy shift? Sometimes she softens, leans in, and the moment feels electric. Other times she stiffens, pulls back slightly, or creates distance, and you're left wondering what just happened. That tiny moment, often lasting only a few seconds, reveals everything about how she really feels about you. And most men completely miss it. There is one spot on a woman's body that reveals everything she is really feeling. And the moment she lets you touch it, her mind and heart are already yours. I'm not talking about some cheap pickup line or alpha male nonsense. Stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change the way you read every single female signal forever. Women don't fall in love or feel strong attraction because of big dramatic gestures. They feel it through their nervous system, through subtle, instinctive responses to how safe, seen, and comfortable they feel in your presence. Attraction is rarely spoken clearly, but it is always expressed physically. And no, not in the obvious ways most guys think. It's subtle. It's happening beneath awareness. A woman's body is constantly responding to how she feels around you. And those responses are far more honest than anything she could say out loud. What we're diving into today is that hidden layer, the one that separates men who guess from men who truly understand. When a woman allows certain types of touch, she isn't just being nice or going along with it. Her nervous system is making real-time decisions. It's quietly asking questions like, do I feel safe with him? Do I trust him? Does his presence calm me or create tension? The answers show up instantly through her body. This is why two men can do the exact same thing, reach for her hand, touch her shoulder, stand close, and get completely different reactions. One feels natural and welcome. The other feels uncomfortable or even repelling. The difference isn't the action, it's the emotional experience behind it. And that's where most men get it wrong. They focus on what to do instead of understanding what she feels. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine you're sitting next to a woman at a bar or cafe. Conversation is flowing. Things feel light, maybe even playful. At some point, you lightly touch her arm while making a point. Here's where everything matters. Not the touch itself, but what happens next. Does she subtly lean in closer? Does she continue talking without breaking the flow? Does her body remain relaxed? Or does she stiffen slightly, shift her posture, or create a bit of distance? Most men miss this moment entirely. But this moment is everything, because her reaction is not calculated. It is instinctive, and instinct does not lie. What's happening here is deeply rooted in psychology and biology. Human beings are wired to detect intention through touch. Studies have shown that people can identify emotions like affection, tension, dominance, or discomfort through physical contact alone, without a single word being spoken. Women, in particular, are exceptionally attuned to this. A woman's nervous system is constantly scanning for emotional safety. It's not something she consciously thinks about. It just happens. So when you touch her, she isn't just registering the physical sensation. She is reading your energy, your confidence, your emotional state, your authenticity. If you are tense, unsure, or trying too hard, she feels that. If you are calm, grounded, and present, she feels that too. And this is why attraction cannot be faked. It is felt. Think of a woman's body not just as physical space, but as layers of trust. Each area represents a different level of emotional access. And as you move from one level to the next, what you're really doing is moving deeper into her sense of comfort, safety, and connection with you. The first level is neutral territory, arms and shoulders. This is where most interactions begin, and it's also where many men get stuck. A light touch on the arm, a casual tap on the shoulder, these are socially acceptable gestures. They don't carry much weight on their own. If she allows this, it doesn't necessarily mean she is attracted. It simply means she is comfortable enough not to pull away. But even here, there is information. Is she open in her posture or slightly closed off? Does she angle her body toward you or away? Does she maintain eye contact or start to disengage? These are micro signals, but they matter more than anything you could say, because at this stage, she is not deciding if she wants you. She is deciding if she feels okay around you. And that is the foundation of everything. Now, let's move slightly deeper. Hands and wrists. This is where things start to shift. Holding hands is not just physical contact. It is symbolic. It represents connection, presence, and a willingness to share a moment together. When a woman allows you to hold her hand, even briefly, she is giving you a certain level of emotional access. The wrist is even more interesting. It is sensitive. It is vulnerable. It is not a place people casually allow others to touch unless there is a degree of comfort already established. So if she is relaxed when you touch her wrist, if she does not pull away, if she even subtly responds, that is a sign that her guard is lowering. Not completely, but noticeably. And here is where I want you to pay attention to something important. It is not about rushing from one level to the next. It is about whether she is inviting you forward. Because when it is right, it does not feel like progression. It feels natural. There is a flow to it, a rhythm. And when you are in sync with that rhythm, everything becomes effortless. The waist and lower back is what I call the instinctive test zone. This is one of the first areas where a woman cannot fully see your movement. When you place your hand lightly on her lower back while guiding her through a door, or when you stand close and there is subtle contact at her waist, her reaction is almost entirely subconscious. She does not have time to analyze it. She feels it. And in that split second, her body answers one question. Do I feel safe with him being this close to me without full control or visibility? That is a powerful psychological moment. If she stiffens, shifts away, or repositions herself quickly, that is not harsh rejection. It is information. Her nervous system is saying not yet, or something does not feel aligned. But if she stays relaxed, if she leans slightly into you, if her body does not resist that proximity, that is trust beginning to form on a deeper level. This is not about dominance. It is not about asserting control. It is about how your presence feels when you enter her space. A man who is grounded, calm, and emotionally present can place his hand on a woman's lower back and it feels natural, even comforting. A man who is uncertain, trying to impress, or seeking validation can do the exact same thing and it feels invasive. Same action, completely different emotional impact. And women feel that difference instantly. Now we arrive at the final level, the one that acts like a truth detector, the hair. Hair is not just physical, it is emotional. It is symbolic. It is deeply personal. For most women, their hair is tied to identity, femininity, self-expression, even control. It is something they adjust when they are nervous, play with when they are flirting, fix when they want to feel more composed. So when a woman allows someone else into that space, it is not random. It is revealing. But let's slow this down because nuance matters. It is not about you reaching for her hair. It is about her allowing it, and more importantly, how she responds in that moment. If your hand moves gently, naturally, maybe brushing a strand away, maybe your fingers lightly passing through, and she leans into it. If her head tilts slightly without thinking, if her eyes soften or even close for a brief second, if there is a small, unfiltered smile that appears without effort, that is not performance, that is not politeness, that is a full-body response. That is emotional safety and physical comfort aligning at the same time. When those two align, something powerful happens. Her guard drops without her needing to decide to drop it. This is not a move. This is not something you try to make happen. The moment it becomes forced or driven by an outcome, it loses everything that makes it real. And she will feel that immediately. Women do not just feel the touch. They feel the intention behind it. So if that intention is impatience, neediness, or trying to get somewhere, her body will close off just as quickly as it opened. But when it happens naturally, when the connection has already been built, when the trust is there, when your presence feels grounded and safe, this moment does not feel like escalation. It feels like a continuation. And that is the difference between attraction that flows and attraction that collapses. Here is what I want you to really sit with. A woman does not open up like this because of what you do. She opens up because of how she feels around you. That is why some men can follow every rule they have learned online and still feel like nothing works, while others seem to move effortlessly through these levels without even trying. It is not technique, it is presence. Stop focusing on outcomes. Stop thinking in terms of how do I get her to like me or what should I do next. Instead, Shift your focus to this one question. How does she feel in my presence right now? Because if the answer is relaxed, open, at ease, you are already moving in the right direction. If the answer is uncertain, tense, or distant, no action or technique will override that. And this is where emotional intelligence becomes your greatest advantage. Pay attention not in a hyper-analytical way, but in a grounded, aware way. Feel the interaction. Do not just perform it. Let moments breathe. Allow silence when it happens. Notice the subtle shifts, because attraction lives in those small, quiet spaces, not in the loud and obvious. What if the goal was never to win her over, but to create a space where she naturally wants to move closer? What if instead of chasing signals, you became someone who understands them and responds in a way that feels right, not forced? That is where real connection begins, and that is what most people never learn. If this gave you a new perspective, if you feel like you are starting to see things more clearly, take a second and hit that like button. It helps more than you think. Drop a comment too. I would genuinely like to know, what is one moment you have experienced where someone's presence made you feel instantly comfortable or instantly unsure? And if you haven't already, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. There are layers to attraction, connection, and human behavior that most people never explore. But once you do, everything changes. The truth is simple but not always easy to accept. Touch is not about control. It is not about strategy. It is a conversation, one that happens without words. Every gesture, every reaction, every subtle shift is telling a story about trust, safety, and emotional alignment. And when you learn to read that story, not force it, not rewrite it, but truly understand it, you stop guessing, you stop overthinking, you stop trying to be someone you are not. And you start connecting in a way that feels real for both of you. Because at the end of the day, that is what this is really about. Not getting closer to her body, but being someone she feels safe getting closer to. Thank you for watching all the way through. If this resonated, hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment with the word seen if you're committed to paying closer attention from now on. You've got the map now. Use it well. I'll see you in the next video.